Don't do it, Brooklyn. Don't do it, Nicola Peltz. They're about to make exactly the same mistake that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle did. Forever smash their reputation by choosing to publicly smash their family.
Meghan Markle is making headlines again, but this time it's not for a royal feud or a podcast flop. She's being blasted as a middle-aged vulture for reportedly circling the Peltz Beckhams for a new explosive TV tell-all. Is this a desperate grab for attention, or a calculated PR move to stay relevant in fading Hollywood circles? Grab your tea, because this drama is piping hot.
And guess who they're listening to for advice? The Duke and Duchess of Delusion. All of this revealed by Lady Colin Campbell, who's going to be here in just 1 minute. But first, let me take you through her revelations. I am hearing very disturbing reports that Meghan and Harry are encouraging Brooklyn and Nicola Peltz Beckhams to do a Judas on his parents, in emulation of the Sussexes' unedifying example. No matter how appalling parents are, and not for a moment am I saying either Harry and Meghan's parents or Brooklyn and Nicola Beckham's are, it does not behove a child to ignore the fifth commandment and dishonour them. Meghan Markle has turned on her father, the father whose praises she sang until she met Harry, and it suited her to turn him off into the living embodiment of King Lear. Harry has followed suit, giving us insight into how a disordered and petulant, drug-addled ingrate performs as he unwarrantedly and unfairly demonizes his father when previously, i.e. pre-Meghan, he also sang his praises. Hopefully, the much-trumpeted Peltz tradition of respect for family values will hold fast, and the young couple will avoid mimicking the repellent example of the two middle-aged vultures who would doubtless enjoy having another high-profile couple take the heat off them, having been encouraged by them to confirm to the world what dreadful human beings they are. Youngsters need to remember, misery loves company. And fame whores love nothing better than having someone to deflect from how truly awful they are. And it's a delight to have Lady Colin Campbell back on Outspoken today. Lady C, I always knew Brooklyn Beckham wasn't the sharpest tool in this shed. But what's Nicola Peltz thinking here? Like, how on earth can you look at the complete collapse of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's career since the Oprah Winfrey interview, since they publicly turned on their family, and think, I know, I'm going to follow their lead? What's going on here?
According to insiders, Meghan Markle has been cozying up to Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz, a young, high-profile couple still navigating their own spotlight. The alleged goal, a joint tell-all TV special promising exclusive confessions and behind-the-scenes drama.
Well, of course, Dan, we need to remember that Nicola Peltz and Brooklyn Beckham have so far actually not followed Harry and Meghan's lead. They have all got together and they ran into each other at a dinner party, and they have subsequently got together, evidently. And Meghan and Harry have made it, well, they've leaked that they are prepared to give them guidance, but to give Nicola Peltz her due, so far they have actually not leaked anything. Oh, well, let me rephrase that. So far, they are not on the record officially as having trashed the Beckhams. Now, of course, as you and I both know, there is briefing behind the scenes from both parties and from their friends and supporters. And doubtless Meghan will be trying to pump them up so that they will make the mistake that she made and that she encouraged Harry to make, which is to be, you know, wear the Judas mantle and betray your family. And she's betrayed both. The Beckhams haven't done that, because I am told that Nicola Peltz is actually very ambitious, very hungry to be famous, very hungry to be an A-list actress, which she is not. She's had one or two minor roles, but that the Peltzes are very family orientated. And there seems to be what I suppose you'd call a power struggle between the more famous and more prestigious Beckhams and the richer and more powerful Peltzes as to which family is going to predominate. Now, there's nothing that unusual about that. And also, the dynamic is, as any mother of sons knows, there's actually a very famous saying: you have a son, a daughter you have for life, a son you have until he finds a wife. So I think that's been going on. And Victoria Beckham is very family orientated, as is David. But David Beckham did ice his father for some time. So Brooklyn Beckham has seen what David did to his father. But they kissed and made up. And I mean, I've met his father. He's an absolutely lovely man. But I think Brooklyn Beckham is so far not making the mistake of going public. And hopefully neither he nor Nicola Peltz will go public. And if they don't go public, this stands a chance of ultimately settling down in such a way that there will be superficial cordiality, as there often is in families, because not everybody loves everybody else at the same time, and sometimes people loathe each other. But when they're in public, or when there's family events, they all get together, and then as soon as the event is over, they're busy lacerating each other with their tongues. So I think that up to now, Nicola Peltz has not fallen in the trap that Meghan will doubtless like her to fall into, because Meghan may not realize that she made a huge mistake in trashing publicly her father and her husband's family. But everybody now can see that it's so obvious that as I said all along, I've said it in my books as well. So I've been saying it from 2020. Meghan's big mistake was to traduce her father in the eyes of the world. And this was before she then traduced the royal family. So
totally. Well, it was interesting, Lady C, because Samantha Markle, Meghan's sister, actually replied to your tweet, and she obviously knows more than most what happens when your family is publicly trashed. And she wrote they can diffuse the public criticism and point fingers at the Beckhams then and say, look, they did it too. They just want to normalize this behavior. Hopefully the Beckhams are not stupid enough to fall for it. Maybe they need to get the memo. What a fine example of misery loves company. Of course, they don't want to be alone in that deviant boat. So Samantha, Lady C, is claiming that Harry and Meghan are almost looking for someone else to do what they did so that their publicity is not so bad off the back. I mean, number one, I don't think that's going to work. But do you think there's something in that?
Sound familiar? Critics are calling it Sussex 2.0, a repeat of the royal tell-all formula that blew up the British monarchy's image and sent the Sussexes spiralling into controversy. But this time, Meghan's not just telling her own story, she's trying to tell someone else's.
Oh, I think absolutely, without a doubt. They are hoping to have company join their miserable sofas. Yeah, without a doubt. And if they can get Nicola Peltz and Brooklyn Beckham to traduce his family publicly, she'll be able to swan around in her groups and maybe even in public saying, oh, well, you see, we're not alone, and this is the sort of thing that happens in high-profile families, and to normalize the abnormal. But so far, Nicola Peltz hasn't fallen for it. And I know from people who know the Peltzes that they are very family orientated. And normally, if you are family orientated, even if you don't like your own family, you're not going to traduce them. And even if you don't like the family that one of your children is married into, you're not going to traduce them either, because it's just undignified. And it shows you can't be pro-family if you are trying to undermine the reputation of people you don't like within your family. So I actually have some hope that this situation will not end up the way Harry and Meghan have created with the Markles and the royal family. Because so far, I mean, let's be clear, so far, and I emphasize the word so far, neither Brooklyn nor Nicola Beckham have actually said a word publicly. And if they know what's good for them, they never will say a word publicly, because to do so will be to start their journey down the slippery slope, which Harry and Meghan have shown the way. And what the consequences are when you go down that slope, because you can't be a public figure and liked when everybody knows that you are a despicable human being. That's the mistake Meghan has made, and she can spin anything and come up with pulling out perfectly washed carrots that have beautifully trimmed stalks. I just pull them out of my garden and my vegetable patch. I'm so authentic. I mean, people aren't dumb, and people just don't go and that is the way to destroy yourself publicly. And she has shown everybody what the template is for destroying yourself publicly. Trash everybody else, and you end up being seen as the trash that you are.
Very, very true. And Lady C, what I think the concern is with Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz is they're just not really the most, how do I put it, engaging couple publicly. I think an interview would go very, very badly on camera, because this is what happened recently when they sat down with Glamour magazine. Eek. Oh, God. I think the more they probably keep their mouths shut in public, the better.
Royal commentator Lady Colin Campbell didn't hold back. She accused Meghan and Harry of pushing Brooklyn and Nicola to turn on their families, just like Harry did with his royal relatives and Meghan with her father. Campbell even said Meghan's looking for company in her boat of betrayal.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. A study in vacuity,
Yes.
Well, everybody's always known he had no brains.
True.
And but she not only has clearly no brains, but she's also showing that she has rather too big an ego, and she needs elocution lessons. I mean, that voice really needs to be brought down a peg too, so that she has velvet instead of glass, scratching on the glass in her tone. But I mean, dumb. The both of them are dumb. And I mean, people need to understand that other people don't like you because you have a monstrous ego. People like you because you are likable, or they admire you because you are admirable, or you have talent. And even if you are an appalling human being and you have talent, they will tolerate your character or personality defects. And and to be able to derive the benefit of your talent. I will use, for instance, Richard Wagner as an example, the great German composer who was a rabid anti-Semite. But when the state of Israel wanted to ban his music, Daniel Barenboim, the great Jewish Israeli born in Argentina, conductor stroke pianist who was married to anyway, that I won't go into. The point I'm making is Daniel Barenboim said, absolutely not. We are not banning, there's no way we're banning Richard Wagner's music because he had composed some of the most divine music on earth. And the fact that he was a rabid anti-Semite is one thing, but his music is another. And people need to understand if they want to be liked, and nowadays most public figures want to be liked. They need to understand if they're going to be liked, they have to be likable. Nobody likes them because they have massive egos. This is a mistake that Meghan has made, and this seems to be a mistake that Nicola Peltz is making, and Brooklyn Beckham is making another mistake, and a totally different mistake, which is that he, having been brought up in a famous and very now rich family, he is a member of the elite, and he doesn't understand that when you are a member of the elite and you are brought up with privileges, they are not entitlements. And just because you are the son of a famous footballer and a really rather bad singer who is not a particularly good designer, but is very stylish and has made herself into an acceptable and admirable public figure, that doesn't mean that you are deserving of recognition. So he has done cookery, he's done a whole load of stuff, each of which was meant to make him into the star that he clearly feels he should be, and that he should have public acknowledgement for his specialness. Well, so far he's shown he's not at all special, except in the fact that he was born to famous parents and now he's married into a billionaire family. So they need to really be careful of the games they play and how much they expose themselves. And that's one of the virtues of the royal family, not giving interviews and keeping themselves to themselves, except in very limited circumstances and on very limited subjects. If you do that, you do not reveal your failings, you do not reveal your inadequacies. It is better to be thought a fool than open up your mouth and remove all doubt. And regrettably, Brooklyn Better does keep on opening up his mouth and showing that he's a talentless fool. Sorry, but he's evidently a nice fool. And he's obviously a very devoted fool. And he's obviously completely in her thrall. And that in itself is very unattractive to many women. I mean, women, at least in my generation, women wanted men. They didn't want pussies. They wanted men. And I mean, who wants a doormat that, it's...
Trying to normalize public family takedowns to soften her own image. Her words? Middle-aged vultures clinging to youth to stay culturally relevant. Savage. But is it true?
Totally. Well, ladies, do you know when I realised he is a little pussy? And when I realised it was when, and I don't give a damn if the woke mob think that I'm wrong for saying this, I thought he is such a little pussy. He took her name. Do you know that? So he's now Brooklyn Peltz Beckham. I just thought, you're totally controlled. You're captured. You're cucked by this woman.
Well, I hear what you're saying, And I personally think that if a child of mine did something like that, I would be spitting bricks. But I do know, Dan, that some of the young people think it's okay to do something like that. And so I would not, but what I object to even more, although that is indicative of his thinking and his posture, let's put it that way. But I think when he says, "Oh, I'll be your devoted slave. Oh, please step all over me. You know, I'm here to adore you. Oh, I'm here to support you all the time." Excuse me. Which man or indeed woman supports somebody all the time? No matter how much you love someone, if you have any integrity, when they're wrong, and when they're right, and that is what makes for proper full partnerships. I just don't get the whole business of, because somebody's a woman, she's supposed to have her foot on a man's head at all times. I mean, whatever happened to men and being desirable as men? I mean, why do they have to be pussies? I'm sorry, I think it's sick, quite frankly.
So will Brooklyn and Nicola fall into the same trap that shattered Meghan and Harry's public image? Or will they dodge the drama and protect their families from the chaos? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Are Meghan's motives about friendship or fame? And do you think the middle-aged vulture label is justified? Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon, because this saga is just getting started.